tell you a little story. Many, many years ago, this is before I quote unquote blew up, before I became successful. This is when I was still, upcoming artist level. In fact, I'm still an upcoming artist. So my album is coming next year. Please stay tuned for that. But many, many years ago, before, my first record dropped and I was, still just kind of a struggling artist coming up, there was this show in the United States. And at the show, there was a headliner. There was an old school artist who, had obviously done amazing things during his career, but obviously he was at the tail end of his career. He's passed on now, rest in peace. But so there was a headliner who was, at the height of his fame. There was an old school artist who had been kind of past his moment of fame. And then there was an upcoming artist who was just starting out. So the headliner obviously was closing the show. The upcoming artist was just starting out, so he was the opener. He only had like 10 minutes on stage. And then the old school artist had a few more minutes than the upcoming guy, but obviously there was a difference between where this headlining artist was in his career and these other two guys. So the show went on and it was an amazing show. It was a great show. Obviously, most people in the crowd came to see the headlining artist. So at the after party, they have these after parties after concerts, there's this VIP section. And in the VIP section, a lot of the handlers, the organizers, promoters, the people that were working for the show, the crew, had kind of made this separation and this distinction to say, okay, the headlining artist, you stay here, you have this massive VIP section. Oh yeah, upcomer, stand on the edge here. Old school guy, stand on the edge here. But when they got there and the headliner saw what was happening and saw the difference in treatment, he said, no. He told them to scrap the tables for the other guys and said they should come and sit next to him. So the headliner humbled himself and said, you know what, exalt these guys because we're all artists, we're all on the same, we all deserve the same treatment. Guess what? The headliner was Two-Face. The upcoming artist was myself. The old school artist was Majek Fashek. Same show. But Two-Face, that's the first time I met him, Tubaba, first time. And from that moment on, he embraced me, he embraced Majek Fashek, and him and I became cool from that time. And he's still my friend till today. And if you ask anybody anything about Two-Face, what do they tell you? They say, oh, this guy is humble. Ask anybody that knows him, that's met him, that's come across him. They say this guy is he carries humility. Now, is it any surprise that Tubaba, over the course of a career that has lasted decades, is still being honored, is still relevant, is still successful? Okay? It's not because he doesn't have flaws. It's not because he doesn't make mistakes. It's not because he hasn't messed up. But it's because he carries humility in his heart. 1 Peter 5:5 and James 4:6 both say the same thing. It says, God opposes the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. James 4:10, humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you. Proverbs 22:4, the reward for humility and the fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. Proverbs 18:12, before destruction, a man's heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. Luke chapter 14:11, for everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, God rewards humility. God honors humility. God values humility. You know how much God values humility? The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, Jesus Christ, was born in a manger. Jesus Christ, the Messiah, got down on his hands and knees and washed his disciples' feet. And this was the time when they didn't have cars. They used to trek everywhere. Their feet were probably dirty. But the Lord of Lords, the God who created them, humbled himself, not only came down as man, not only was born in a manger, but at that point, he displayed the greatest act of humility by washing the feet of his creation. So if humility is good enough for Jesus, then please let it be good enough for you.